Hello again, and welcome to our series with Dan Krantz, the CIO of Keysight Technologies. Dan, welcome back.
Hi, Candice. Good to be here.
Lovely to have you. So in the two episodes we've had so far, Dan, you've given us some insight into the challenges that a CIO would face, particularly with the pandemic as a backdrop, and then how you would structure the agenda for 2021 and beyond. And in the last episode, you mentioned the benefits that you had derived from software test automation. I'd like to delve into that just a little bit, particularly with regards to the benefits of utilizing Eggplant. You mentioned that was significant in your shift from waterfall to agile. How did you discover Eggplant?
Yeah, it's a good question, Candice. We a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, as the pandemic was really taking its toll, we were mid-flight with a number of projects we were doing in Keysight IT to modernize our applications. And I remember a review with my team, a big checkpoint to see, are we on track with our go lives? Because I had heard that we had done a lot of the technical work, and I was thinking, why can't we go live? Why aren't we ready to turn on a lot of these capabilities? And thinking we must be just weeks away. And the review, they said we are 6 to 8 months away from turn on. We cannot turn on these capabilities that we've been working on. And I was, why? Why are we so far away from being able to turn this on? They said, well, we need to do testing. So we haven't been testing as we were developing. Oh, no, we are doing it in sequential. We did the development work. Now we're going to start our testing. We have onboarded hundreds of people to do manual testing, and it'll take us until November, December to fully test. I thought, you got to be kidding me. We're going to be testing all of this capability with an army of people, and it's months and months away before we're actually done. It's crazy. But I resigned myself to that's life with these kinds of systems. And then across came my desk the announcement, not yet public, that there's a company called Eggplant that we would be acquiring, that would be joining the Keysight family. And I asked my team, what is this? This is test automation. And so we quickly pivoted in the midstream on our projects to using Eggplant test automation, able to pull forward by weeks and weeks our go live dates on some of these critical programs, one of which our biggest was our modernization of our Oracle ERP system. The entire company runs on this platform, and we hadn't touched it for a decade. It was way past due, major upgrade, and we threw Eggplant at it for testing, able to accelerate our testing by 30 to 50%, taking weeks and weeks off of our go live. And the cool thing on this, Candice, when we did go live with this massive upgrade, and I think a lot of my peers in the IT industry can resonate with this, when you touch your ERP system, the heart of your company, and you make changes, you better bank on at least months of issues afterwards as you stabilize. We stabilized within weeks of go live. And I think, and I have to say, I think a large part of that is because the final testing that we did was with Eggplant test automation. And so our stabilization was weeks, not months for that.
You've obviously shown us that you are extremely brave, Dan, taking on modernizing your ERP system, utilizing or harnessing the power of automation to do so, and really just harden the whole process therein. You must have some sage advice. What would you say is the 3 steps a CIO needs to take to try and incorporate software test automation, particularly into a digital transformation agenda?
Yeah, so I think step 1 is just to make testing something that is on the CIO's radar screen, that it's something that you actually pay attention to. I wasn't. So first step is make that part of the agenda when you're doing reviews, when you're determining what projects to start, to actually upfront incorporate into the discussions with your teams. What's the test strategy? How are we going to automate this? How are we going to scale this? That's step 1. Step 2 is to do the testing in a different paradigm. So a lot of our teams that have done test work, most of us in IT, we know that we have to test what we're doing. And we've used regression tests, we've used scripts, we've used object-based approaches and an army of people to pull it off. And so once you've made testing as an agenda item, the second thing is to challenge the status quo with your teams and change the paradigm to say, when you're going to do smart, intelligent, functional testing of your system, it's not about porting your old scripts. It's about creating a model, a digital model of your system that you can then play with and functionally test your capability. It's a completely different paradigm. So the second step in this test automation thinking and how to get it implemented is to get your team ready for the paradigm change in what true functional test automation is. And then the third is to not stop there, but then to now scale it and say, well, where else should we be applying this test automation framework beyond the known big projects where you typically think about test, but now in the areas where you maybe are doing small little enhancements and you aren't even paying attention to the test cycles or testing that goes on there, but scaling your test automation out into these other domains where maybe even, for example, in how you run your infrastructure. A lot of us are moving to infrastructure as code. We're going from the human approach to managing our computing infrastructure to scripting it out with Ansible and other types of technologies that basically it's software that's running our infrastructure. It's now pivoting your new test automation into domains in the IT environment that you never thought you needed test automation. So those are the three steps I would go through. So again, it's make testing part of the CIO agenda, challenge your teams to change the paradigm on the big programs that you're doing, and then move laterally into other parts of your IT environment.
That is brilliant. Thank you very much, Dan. I totally appreciate the whole notion of moving away from the concept of testing being a compliance step, but becoming part and parcel of how you actually deliver that product to your team. That's very important. Now, what are the plans that Keysight have for increasing their use of Eggplant, given that you are almost democratizing software test automation and the automation thereof into other areas?
Yeah, Candace, it's the important thing we're doing now is, and I mentioned on the previous episode about shifting to agile and away from waterfall. So we're completely retooling across Keysight, not just IT, but the business partners across the functions, be it the sales operations teams, the finance operations teams, the customer support operations teams, all these teams that we work with when we work on new IT capabilities, we're all collectively embracing agile. And in doing so, we're having to shift to rethinking how we're going to do tests. Because when you're agile, you don't start a project and end a project. You're always iterating. You're in a product mode where you're just working on delivering sprints that have increasing capabilities and enhancements, and instrumenting into those sprints test automation. So our first foray into using Eggplant at Keysight was on our Oracle modernization. We were modernizing our platform in preparation for our digital transformation, exposing our hidden ERP through APIs to the online customers who could now interact with our ERP system to place orders, to check order status, to see the visibility of the fulfillment of that order. Where is it on its delivery time and that schedule? All of that exposed through a new digital platform that we're building out in terms of a customer experience. So we're layering in Eggplant to automate the testing of that framework, taking what we did for our Oracle platform, reusing that and stitching together the Eggplant testing of the front end on the Adobe platform, our Salesforce Communities platform, the Elastic Path e-commerce capability, the middleware that ties it all together, and having one Eggplant framework that tests all of that end to end. That's what we're in the process of implementing right now. Without it, we would not be scaling our e-commerce online program at the pace we are going today. Originally, we thought without Eggplant, we would take our limited e-commerce that we built in the US last year, and by the end of 2021, we would be able to activate it for Europe. Europe is 25 plus countries. We're going to be dealing in 4 or 5 currencies. And so we thought we would need to take at least 2 to 3 times longer to do Europe than when we did the US. But now that we're bringing in Eggplant and we can have an automated way of testing, we're actually going to bring online our Europe e-commerce in about half the time. We're just a month or 2 away from go live. And I never thought we'd be doing that. I thought we'd be going live in December with this, not May. And so it's been a game changer for us when we've rethought how to do testing for us at Keysight.
Well, that is an amazing point to be made, just in terms of the time saving, but also the stress I imagine it relieves from the teams that are actually finding out defects before they even need to, be undone, because they're doing it through development effectively, bringing that whole DevOps cycle so much, much closer. Well, it's been insightful to chat to you. Thank you very much, Dan. I've totally appreciated your time and enjoyed the insights that you have delivered to us through this series. I hope that you will join us on the couch again soon and tell us a little bit more about, some of the programs that you are going to be delivering with Keysight, powered by Eggplant.
Thank you, Candace. I look forward to reporting back in the future what great successes we have with Eggplant that I haven't even imagined yet, because I think there's even more that we haven't even tapped into, and I look forward to that journey. Thank you.
Really hope that you've enjoyed watching this. If you, like Dan, are somewhere along your software development journey and would like to look at the benefits that software test automation can deliver to you, please reach out to Eggplant at eggplantsoftware.com or reach us via our parent company, Keysight Technologies. Thank you very much for joining me.